Request everyone present here to please put their phones on silent. Please put your phones on silent. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, esteemed dignitaries, respected faculty members, dear students, and all the special invitees. On behalf of Kaylee's College of Business Administration, I, Shrishti Hosmani,
And I, Pranav Lingdali.
warmly welcome you all to this special gathering.
Today is a proud occasion as we honor an academic excellence and host an inspiring leader, Professor U. Dinesh Kumar, Director of the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. I request our Principal, Professor Ramakant Devgoji, and our Academic Coordinator, Professor Basit Binnar, to please escort our dignitaries onto the dais. Thank you, sir.
To begin on an auspicious note, let us invoke blessings for wisdom and harmony. Please welcome Miss Anjali Dikshit to lead us in the invocation song.
ಚರಣ ಕಮಲಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮಿಸಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವೆ ದೇವರೇ ಚರಣ ಕಮಲಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮಿಸಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವೆ ದೇವರೇ ಕರುಣಿಸಯ್ಯ ದೀನಬಂಧು ಕರುಣಿಸಯ್ಯ ದೀನಬಂಧು ಜೀವಕೋಟಿ ಕಾವಲೆ ಚರಣ ಕಮಲಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮಿಸಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವೆ ದೇವರೇ ನಿನ್ನ ನಾಮ ಸ್ಮರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಮರೆಯದಂತೆ ಕರುಣಿಸು ನಿನ್ನ ನಾಮ ಸ್ಮರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಮರೆಯದಂತೆ ಕರುಣಿಸು ಇಹದ ಮೋಹ ಜಾಲದಿಂದ ದೂರವಿರಿಸು ಮನವನು ಇರದ ಮೋಹ ಜಾಲದಿಂದ ದೂರವಿರಿಸು ಮನವನು ಶರಣು ಬಂದೆ ಸಲಹು ತಂದೆ ಶರಣು ಬಂದೆ ಸಲಹು ತಂದೆ ಅಭಯ ವರದ ಹಸ್ತನೇ ಕರುಣಿಸಯ್ಯ ದೀನಬಂಧು ಕರುಣಿಸಯ್ಯ ದೀನಬಂಧು ಜೀವಕೋಟಿ ಕಾವಲೆ ಚರಣ ಕಮಲಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮಿಸಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವೆ ದೇವರೇ.
For that soulful start. We would now like to request our academic coordinator, Professor Basit Binnal, to welcome the gathering and set the tone for this morning.
Good morning, one and all. On behalf of KLE Society, College of Business Administration, it is my privilege and honor to extend a warm welcome to all of you to this very special occasion. At the very outset, I take great pride in welcoming our distinguished chief guest, Professor U. Dinesh Kumar, Director of IIM Banglore. Sir, we are deeply honored by your gracious presence with us today. Your pioneering contribution in the field of management education, data science and decision science, as well as your visionary perspective on evolving business landscape have made a profound impact on academic and industry. It is indeed a privilege for our faculties and students to have opportunity to hear your insights on changing paradigm of business at this future in evolving age of AI. I also extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Sunil Yes, consultant at IIM Bangalore and manager of Analytics Society of India. I also welcome our respected principal, Professor Ramakant Devgoji, the faculty members of our college, the principal coordinators and faculties from our sister institutions, and most importantly, the students of our college as well as from our sister institutions. Your presence here today enriches the significance of this gathering. The theme of today's talk is both timely and crucial as we stand at the crossroad of technological revolution driven by artificial intelligence. Business are being redefined, strategies are being reimagined, and opportunities for innovations are expanding like never before. For our BBA students who are preparing to be the business leaders of tomorrow, this interaction promises to be both enlightening and inspiring. On behalf of the management, our principal, the faculties, and student community of Kelly College of Business Administration, I once again extend a heartfelt welcome to Professor U. Dinesh Kumar and each one of you present here. We look forward with great anticipation to an engaging and thought-provoking session that will help us envision the future of business in the age of artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To present a brief introduction of our guest for the day, I invite our faculty, Mrs. Rajshri GT.
Good morning, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our distinguished guest today, Professor U. Dinesh Kumar. Professor U. Dinesh Kumar is a renowned academic, researcher, mentor, and speaker whose work spans business analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning algorithms. He is currently a faculty member in the decision sciences area in IIM Bangalore. So at IIMB, he has also led the role of chairperson of Data Center and Analytics Lab and has directed the Chair of Excellence Seminar Series. His research interests lie in applying analytical and algorithmic methods to real-life problems. For example, one of his recent seminars was on predicting customers' forgetfulness using bandit models, the case of online grocery shopping, where he explored how e-retailers can use customer purchase history and multi-armed bandit frameworks to identify the items customers forget to buy. Beyond his technical contributions, Professor Kumar is deeply engaged with India's philosophical and spiritual traditions. He is an accomplished interpreter of the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. Having delivered detailed lectures in both Hindi and English on several chapters and authored work that connects ancient wisdom with modern challenges, especially in domains like perception management and karma yoga. He brings this blend of technical rigor and humanistic insight to his teaching, mentoring, and public talks. We are privileged to have him with us today. I'm confident his talk will not only deepen our understanding of analytics and decision science, but also inspire reflection on how knowledge, ethics, and purpose can come together in one's professional life. Please join me in welcoming Professor U. Dinesh Kumar for this session today. Welcome, sir. Along with Professor U. Dinesh Kumar, we also are privileged to welcome Mr. Sunil S., consultant at the Data Center and Analytics Lab of the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and manager of the Analytics Society of India. For more than a decade, Mr. Sunil has been at the forefront of advancing data-driven innovation. At IIM Bangalore, he has skillfully overseen a range of events, strategic collaborations, and daily operations that strengthen the Institute's analytics system. In his role with the Analytics Society of India, he drives outreach and partnerships across India and academia, fostering a vibrant community of professionals and researchers. His deep expertise and steadfast commitment to have made him an invaluable contributor to growth of analytics and data management in India. We welcome you too, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
May we request the dignitaries to kindly come forward for the formal felicitation of Professor U. Dinesh Kumar and Mr. Sunil.
We are proud to celebrate the hard work, dedication, and outstanding achievements of our rank holders, whose excellence sets a benchmark for all of us. And on this note, we will now felicitate our 7 university rank holders, whose dedication has brought great pride to our institution. We request the dignitaries to please do the honors.
First up, we invite Ms. Rishika Mahajan, who has secured KUD rank 1 with a percentage of 94.09.
We request the audience to please cheer them up. Aneb Gol, who has secured KUD rank 2 with a percentage of 93.88. We request the parents to please accompany her.
Next, Ms. Dhanlakshmi Kulkarni has secured KUD rank 4, securing 92.02 percentage. She recently has moved to Ireland for pursuing her masters. In her absence, we request her parents to please come on the stage.
Next, we invite Ms. Shivani Shetty, who has secured KOD rank 6, securing 91.62%. Thank you, Shivani.
We have Ms. Tanya Mundra, who has secured KUD rank 8 with a percentage of 90.92. We request you to please come on to the stage. Thank you so much, Ms. Tanya.
We invite Shetty, who has secured KOD rank 9 with a percentage of 90.40. In her absence, we would like to request her parents to please come onto the stage.
Next, we have Ms. Shivani Joshi with KUD rank 10 securing 90.24%. We request her parents to come along with her onto the dais. Up next, we have Sahana Patan Shetty's parents here, who has secured KUD rank 9 with a percentage of 90.40. We request her parents to please come on to the dais.
Yes, sir. Please. Would now like to request KU Rank 1 holder, Ms. Rishika Mahajan, to please come on the dais and say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I, Rishika Mahajan, to be standing here today is an immense honor. As I look to all of you, my fellow graduates, my professor, Professor Dinesh Kumar, I am filled with so many emotions right now. That is gratitude, pride, and a touch of disbelief that I actually made it to make the KUD rank. I used to always say, like all the professors know over here, I was like, when will the rank come out? When will we get all the ranks? And whenever I used to come to the college, I used to always ask the faculties. And today, I stand before all of you in such of gratitude and pride that I've achieved it. It is all because of my professors, the principal, Professor Ramakant Devgaji, who made it possible, who pushed me to every mile to make sure that I could achieve it today. It could not have been possible without all of you. I thank each one and every one of you for making it possible. Thank you, one and all.
Now request Ms. Shivani Shetty to please come on to the dais.
Um, Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay. Good to see you all today over here, all the faculties, principals, sir, the special speaker for today, Basit, sir, all the students here. One thing which I would want to, say you all is like, not just study here in BBA. Of course, you're here to enjoy your college days, right? One thing I suggest everybody to do is to participate in everything, all the events, all the seminars, workshops which will be conducted in the college. The reason behind is just sitting over there or missing classes, missing any of the events conducted by sir or the faculties will not get you all here over the stage without any stage fear, right? So all the fest, inter-college fest, national level fest, believe me, other than KLE CBA, Hubli will not provide any other college in Hubli that opportunity to go and participate, right? So a quick hands up to the people of fest enthusiasts here. Any fest enthusiasts? No, okay. Good. That's good. Just leave it all, enjoy it to your fullest. And trust me, each one of the day present in college will teach you something. And you make sure you grab it, right? Thank you, sir, and thank you all the faculties present here to giving me all the opportunities in the 3 years of BBA in my life. And I'm grateful for everything. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Shivani. Once again, congratulations to the university rank holders on their achievements and for making our institution proud.
We would now like to request our principal, Professor Ramakant Devgaji, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everybody. Respected Dinesh sir, Sunil sir, my colleague, academic coordinator Basit sir, my dear other colleagues, respected parents, our alumni, and our present students. So let me tell you very, very honestly, this day stands very, very unique, very, very special for all of us, but 1% very special for me. The reason being, it is not less than a dream come true for all of us and for me personally, because since I joined this college in 2017, I have been always trying in thinking and planning that how we can add value in the lives of the students. Value addition has no boundaries, believe me. Value addition can happen anytime, anywhere. But when it comes to institutions, I think it is the sole responsibility of the faculties, teachers, that we should add value to every student's life. First of all, I congratulate all the 7 rank holders of our college. It is their diligence, it is their hard work, it is their perseverance which has brought this victory to them. And needless to say, that one day they will definitely touch the skies of success. Some have already started the journey. Shivani is working with Australia New Zealand Bank. Rishika is aspiring for higher studies. Apurva, I still remember, she once mentioned that she's aspiring for UPSC, and I believe she's preparing for that. And I'm very, very strongly believing that that day is not very far away where we can see Apurva becoming IAS officer of Indian government. This institution has not only given the leaders in the corporate world, but I'm very proud to tell this institution has given the leaders in business scenario also. In Hubli, you can find a lot of students who are running their businesses very, very successfully. Again, I'm taking pride in telling that the students of our college are present in more than 10 countries. They are either studying over there or they are working over there. Students, I was talking about value addition. What exactly value means? Everybody has studied the definition of value in the first semester of BBA in the subject marketing management. But value addition is, in real sense, it gives a lot of meaning to our life when someone with great caliber adds that value in our life. Value addition can happen everywhere, anywhere. But whenever I used to think earlier that how we can add value in students' life, and when finding the answers of this one simple question, we introduced a lot of activities for the students. Shivani has just mentioned that students are not supposed to be inside the classrooms only learning the bookish knowledge, but they should also actively participate in other activities. Now, what is the purpose behind this? I'm happy to tell that our institute is purpose driven. We have only one purpose, that is your accomplished life, accomplished career, and your success. I keep telling all my students, all my colleagues also, that it is not in this way that we are here, that's why students are here. It's always in the reverse way. Students are here, that's why we are here. And we have this onus of preparing you people for the competitive world tomorrow. You should not be able to lead only in India, but across the world, wherever you may go tomorrow, you should be able to lead with the same confidence. With that purpose, with that intention only, a lot of activities have been started in the college. Thanks to our management, our leader, I must mention his name, Dr. Prakash Kadkol sir, whose visions, as well as the vision of our management, has literally made us to add value every day for the students. Let it be the interclass activities, which will help you boost your confidence, prepare, and overcome your stage fear. Industrial visits, which will let you witness how operations happen, how functions happen in the companies. Field visits, where we are taking you to the local businesses and you are learning something very, very valuable from the local business people. Seminars, where you will be learning from the experts what's happening in the other realms in the world. Workshops, where you will be getting hands-on experiences to enhance your skills. And of course, I must mention the certificate courses. These certificate courses are not being prescribed by university, but yes, one suggestion from our management that we have to make our students competitive and industry ready. If industry is not getting the students with required skill sets, there will be no takers for our students. And this is what we didn't want to see. We always want to see that our students are industry ready. And that's the reason we have started certificate courses in the college, led and delivered by the industry experts in various realms like business analytics, Power BI, digital marketing, advanced Excel, generative AI, and prompt engineering. Sir, I'm happy to say that our students are not only putting their efforts to become competent to be successful in world, but our students have leaders also. Now you can see some students are standing. Basis sir was asking me, sir, can we arrange something for them? I said, yes, we will definitely arrange chairs. But I think a true leader is not there to sit and watch, but true leader is to stand and lead. So I congratulate all these portfolio managers who are standing over here very patiently, and they have literally managed the given responsibilities in a very, very good way. Sir, we always try to nurture leadership skills in the students, and we always strive that whenever they will go and wherever they will go, they should lead with the confidence. I'm happy to tell you, sir, today, not only the students from our college, but students from KLE BBA Gadag, students from KLE BBA Dharwad have also joined us to listen you, sir, on this very unique topic. Students, please join me in extending warm gratitude for you, Dinesh Kumar sir, because it is his kindness who said, initially I know, sir replied me that, sir, saying that, Ramakant, the dates are not really available. We can see something in the month of October. But again, something happened. I requested sir, saying that, sir, you might be easily accessible for the students of Bangalore institutions, but the students of North Karnataka also deserve to learn something and get the inputs from the person like your stature, sir. And he was kind enough to reply, yes, let's do it, and let's freeze the date, 29th of September. Sir, thank you so much for your... This presence means a lot for each one of us. I can see the happiness on my colleague's face, especially my colleague, the principal of KLE BBA College, Professor Channa Rao sir, Santosh sir, who has come all the way from Gadag, and my other colleagues from Dharwad BBA also. Students, before I conclude, I would like to say, these days, these moments are not going to come back. I keep saying that there is no reverse gear in the life. We always proceed ahead. So each day is valuable, each moment is valuable. Today, whatever sir is going to say on this very beautiful topic, apart from that, in the end, I'm sure sir will also answer some of the questions from you people. So learn as much as you can and utilize this knowledge for your betterment. Thank you very much for this overwhelming response. I once again welcome Dinesh sir, Sunil sir for this session, and I congratulate all the students who have succeeded in the university ranks, and I also convey my best wishes to all my students in KLE CBA Hubli. Thank you. Have a good day.
So much, sir.
And now, the moment we all have been waiting for. We are privileged to invite our distinguished chief guest, Professor U. Dinesh Kumar, Director of IIM Bangalore, to engage a session on the topic, The Changing Paradigms of Business and Its Future in the Evolving Age of AI and Its Impact on the Future of Business. We request the dignitaries to please take their seats off the desk, and would like to hand over the session to Professor U. Dinesh Kumar.
Morning, all. It's a great pleasure to be here, and thanks to Professor Ramakant for inviting me to address all the students, parents, and teachers here. Before I talk about AI, first let me congratulate all the rank holders of the university and also the parents. But the main force behind them is the teachers. It also talks about how dedicated teachers this college has. And because of that, 7 out of 10 ranks are garnered by this particular institute. So let us all, thank all the teachers as well. Now, 7 out of 10 is a great achievement. It's like an India-Pakistan match where India always wins. But I was also looking at this side, right? I was wondering why there are no boys in that list, right? So is this India team, that's Pakistan team? I don't know, right? I think, guys, you should compete. But it's a great change that I see at IIM Bangalore and in general IIM. So when I started teaching at IIM, I started my career at IIM Calcutta in 2000. So those days, the percentage of female students used to be about 15%, and with some luck, may reach 18-20. So today, large number of IIMs have more female students than male students, right? So that's an indication that there's a female power in the country, right? And it's also good because there's when we look at female, probably they have naturally compassionate, So Dr. Ramakant was talking about leadership. So we'll have not just ordinary leaders, we'll have leaders with compassion, right? So that is very, very important to lead a society given the geopolitics that we see, and also how do we make India self-reliant, right? And it's not only the job of the government, our governance, but also each one of us is responsible to make India self-reliant so that we don't get threatened or bullied by any country outside India, right? So with that small talk, I'll now go to AI, artificial intelligence. We'll take a couple of minutes to set up my laptop. So till this one. Course on artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI. Must be hearing about that, right? How many of you don't use ChatGPT at all? Not in one hand went up. Okay, right. Do you trust ChatGPT? Not actually? Not completely. To what extent you trust? Okay, let us ask a question, right? What is the probability of finding a perfect life partner? What is the probability of finding a perfect life partner? Ask ChatGPT. This is the only time I'm going to allow you to use the phone, but ask ChatGPT, what is the, all of you are carrying phone? Ask ChatGPT, no, what is the probability of finding a perfect partner? Perfect life partner. It's showing 0. There is no such thing called, perfect partner. That's what it says. Yeah? Any other answer? So a few years back, I used to get an email from one of the matrimonial sites, right? And it said, if I remember the number correctly, it used to say 5,600 brides for you, right? And I didn't show much interest, and I ignored those emails. And people with the technology today know that whether a person has clicked on the email that they sent, right? So they knew that I was not clicking on the mail. So what do you do now? So they changed the subject line. The subject line went from 5,600 brides for you to 5,600 soulmates waiting for you, right? Now, I did click on that. I wanted to understand who these soulmates are, right? But this question, you asked ChatGPT, right? And many times, many of you got an answer that, okay, what do you mean by perfect partner? The probability is almost 0 and all that, right? But ask a different question. Is the probability of finding a perfect partner in life 1 out of 285,000? Just ask this question in the same ChatGPT. Okay, I want some of you to ask this question in ChatGPT, and few can try the same question in Gemini. And tell me what is the answer given by ChatGPT and what is the answer Gemini gives. Okay, ChatGPT, what is the answer from ChatGPT? No. It says, I have no clue about this. What did Gemini say? Anyone using Gemini? So Gemini would actually give you that. This is based on a research by somebody. There was a guy in London, he was not finding girlfriend, right? So he was having self-doubt that, is it me not able to find a girlfriend, or is it a generic problem that men face, right? And he actually wanted to, maybe there is a reason why he was not able to find girlfriend and so on. So he went about building a model. So his entire PhD thesis was on what is the chance of finding a perfect partner. And he came up with this number that you see, which is 1 out of 285,000. That means you have to date 285,000 people before you find a perfect partner. That's what this research says, right? Imagine, I don't know how many of you would even talk to 285,000 people in your life, right? And finding like perfect one among them. But where I'm going with this is what we call as artificial intelligence, right? There are a lot of technologies. The question is, to what extent we can trust this technology? AI, even though it makes a lot of buzz, a lot of companies are investing heavily on AI. AI does not start with technology, right? Just if you go and use a technology, that's why I asked you to use ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on. It is not technology, right? It is having the right quality of data, reliable data, sufficient data, and your ability to ask the right question. That means you need to understand the domain well. So unless you understand the domain well, you may not be able to ask the right question, and you may not be able to add value from the data, okay? So let me start with the data, right? You would have heard about data science. What is data science? It is basically making sense of data, right? I'll skip this. This is a famous quote by Albert Einstein. And he said, if somebody asks me to solve a problem and give me 1 hour, first 55 minutes I spend analyzing whether you're asking the right question. If you understand the question, then it takes only 5 minutes to solve the problem, right? So the quote by Einstein. So let us start with the data before we talk about AI. Because if there is no data, there will be no AI, right? And you must be hearing a lot about data science, or heard about data science. So what is data science? Making sense of data, as simple as that, right? There is a data. Can you make sense of data, what this data is trying to tell us, right? Let me start with an example. What you see here is Facebook relationship breakups, right? When people break up, they go to their Facebook. Maybe today they may even do a TikTok and then post it, or go and write about that in Insta. But I'm talking about 10 years back. They go to their Facebook site and then say, I'm single, I'm happy, I'm in the market, anybody else in the market, and all that, right? And apparently there is a pattern. A lot of people break up in December. So I have 2 questions. One is, why do you think a lot of people break up in December? The second is, so what? Which company will have either positive or negative impact because a lot of people break up in December? So let us take the first question, right? Why do you think a lot of breakups happen in December? I want the students to give answer because you may be in that market. So why do you think a lot of people break up in December? I don't know the right answer, right? I was out of dating market almost 35 years back, so. Okay, you can give the mic, and I want at least 1 or 2 students. Let us make this interactive. I want 1 or 2 students. Don't worry, because nobody knows the right answer, right? You can raise your hands, or somebody will come and give the mic. Okay, by the way, how...
Second question, I believe that alcohol companies will have the most profits after the breakup.
Okay. So people drink more alcohol, that's what you're saying?
I mean...
Okay, fine. Maybe. I don't know. I'm a teetotaler, so I don't know what happens. Okay, I want some girls to say. Yeah, somebody... Hello. Somebody can give mic to her.
Sir, they may find new boys in February, so they may leave at
So Valentine's Day.
Yes, sir.
So they are preparing themselves for Valentine's Day.
Yes, sir.
What is the problem with the existing boy?
Maybe they are bored.
Okay. They are bored. So it's a Gen Z problem, is it? Getting bored quickly? Right. Okay. I have my own reason why a lot of breakup happened in December. So if you look at the chart from July to November, it's at the lowest level. It's a simple bar chart, right? So every day you get a number from 1st January till 31st December, and you're just plotting that simple bar chart. You would have learned in your basic statistics class, pie chart, bar chart, histogram, and so on. What you see is a simple bar chart, and you see a pattern, right? So July to November is at the lowest level. These are probably working couple, go to office, come back very tired, just eat and sleep, right? In December, there are a lot of holidays, and they start talking to each other, right? That's when the problem starts. As long as you're not talking to your partner, your relationship is in good shape. The moment you start talking, you think that, okay, this is not my kind of person, right? And that leads to breakup. In fact, January 3rd in UK is called Divorce Day. Why? A lot of divorce applications are filed in the court on January 3rd, right? That's the first working day after Christmas holiday and so on. Okay, fine. Maybe there could be other reasons why a lot of breakups happen in December, but why should any company care about this? Is it going to impact any companies in a positive or negative way? Are there anybody going to be happy after December because a lot of breakups happen, or anybody going to be sad because a lot of breakups happen? Anyone? Okay, girls. You can tell your views. So in life, there is no right and wrong answer because nobody knows what is right and what is wrong. Sorry? Lawyers, good point. Lawyers will be happy, a lot of business for them. Lawyers and relationship counselors, they'll be happy. Anything else? Matrimony, a lot of traffic to online dating site. Tinder will be very busy. Okay?
Sir, it has both positive and negative. People start going to offices to meet their prospective soulmates in the office. And negative.
How do you know soulmate in the first sight?
There's soulmate. It
Okay.
might be a fling in the office as well. And negative that people might lose interest to go to the office by seeing their ex-prospective candidate in the office.
There's so much of computation in life, right? Calculation, right? So if they are living together, at least one person has to get out of the house. That means the demand for housing increases. Yes. Somebody has to set up a new house. That means the demand for household item increases, right? The gym subscription may increase because now you have to get fit again, right? You are in the market, right? Maybe alcohol consumption may increase. But one retailer claimed that people change the brand of the beer they drink after breakup. What is wrong with beer? Why do you think they're changing the brand of the beer after breakup? They're going from light to strong, is it? Any guess? Why they change the brand of the beer after breakup? Come on. It's just a guess. Why do they change? Yeah?
So probably they are familiar with a particular beer or liquor they are going to drink. And as they are broke up and going to a new start, probably it would hit them, a new brand.
Oh, okay. Any other answer? It's to do with the memories, right? It's an association. If it was a bad breakup, you don't want to remember anything from the past. So whatever reminds you of that relationship, you would like to avoid, okay? So what did we do? There was a data, there was a pattern, and we recognized that pattern, and we're trying to connect the dots to understand what that pattern means to business, right? So data science is all about, or one dimension of data science, because these are all quite heavy and complex concepts. So one dimension of data science is how do we understand the pattern, and how do we connect the dots to understand what that pattern means to various business, right? But understanding the pattern is not that easy. For example, look at our mobile phone. Each one of us carry a smartphone, right? And we do almost everything in the smartphone, right? Not just sending a message or calling friend and so on. You have a lot of apps. You may be listening to music in Spotify. You're watching YouTube video. You have a lot of OTT platforms. You're watching K-drama or K-pop in Netflix, whatever, right? Now, all this data is coming to your service provider, whether it is, say, Airtel or Vodafone or whichever company you're talking about. And these are huge volume of data which is coming at a very, very high rate, right? High speed. This is what constitutes your big data. How can we gain insights, right? Because when you have a complex data, how do we, because this chart is simple bar chart. There is one number which is coming from per day. That's it. But India has 1.4 billion people, right? These are all user-generated content. And how do you actually put together this unstructured complex data, and how do I understand so that I can take decision, I can come up with a new business model, I can introduce new products, right? I can have a new business model. So that I can do a lot of things if I understand the data. But the question is, how do I understand such a complex data? That's where we have hundreds and hundreds of algorithms. We call some of them as machine learning, some of them as deep learning, some of them as artificial intelligence, some of it as generative AI, agentic AI. There are new avatars of something that we are, which we would like to do, which is how do I convert data to value so that I can create impact in the society, right? It need not be always for-profit organization. It can be also for organizations which are probably small, like small and medium enterprises, even for NGOs, right? But remember, the success of data depends on the reliability of the, the success of a project depends on the reliability of the data that you have and quality of the data that you have. So let me give an example. Typically, what happens is that I have worked with a large number of organizations. I'm not even saying that there is a good data, bad data, and ugly data, right? I'm saying bad data, very bad data, and ugly data. Now, why is that? If you look at any organization, right, and there is a data entry operator, or the people who go and collect data, these are the least paying jobs, right? The data entry operator may be given a task that you should complete 300 forms in a day. So that person is, his main concern is whether he's completing that task of entering 300 forms rather than checking whether he has entered the data correctly and properly, right? So that's the major problem. But even, so that's a data entry error, right? We can forgive to some extent. But then a lot of organizations actually manipulate data, right? Let me give an example. There was an online study which was done in UK in year 2000. And this online kind of poll. And the question was, who is the most influential man of past 2000 years? Okay? Now, can you take a guess who may have got maximum number of votes? Remember that this is happening in UK. And so you know the market. So the question is, who is the most influential man of past 2000 years? Year 0 to year 2000. Any names come to your mind? David Beckham. There are football fans here, okay? Not Newton. Not the Queen. Sorry? Diana? Princess Diana, okay? Anybody else? All right. This guy, okay, not that. I went in the wrong direction. So this guy got maximum number of votes. How many of you recognize him? Okay. This is what happened in the poll. He came second. He lost that election. Right? And Karl Marx came third. So he got more votes than Jesus Christ and Karl Marx. Now you may be wondering, what did he do in his life? Right? How he managed to get more votes than Jesus Christ. So his name is Jamie Pollock. And he was a football player playing for Manchester City or Man City. In that season, 1999-2000, Man City was in Division 1. Right? Nowadays, they are in Premier League. And this was the last match of the season. Their opponent was Queen's Park Rangers. The situation was that to win that match, otherwise they'll be relegated to Division 2, right? It's like a demotion. So this is what happened in the match. Now the ball is with Jamie Pollock. Good goal. Wrong side of the pitch. It was a self-goal. With all that effort, he, made a self-goal. So thanks to this goal, the match ended in a 2-all draw. And because of that, Man City was relegated to Division 2 and Queen's Park Rangers stayed in Division 1, right? And this poll was immediately after the match. And all the fans of Queen's Park Rangers went and voted for Jamie Pollock as the most influential man of past 2,000 years, right? There is something called bias. You have the response bias. When you ask a question to somebody, they respond to you. That could be a biased response, right? So sometimes when you collect the data, how do you know that this data is a true reflection of what it is, right? So unless you have the right data, you may not actually get the right answer. So the beginning of all this AI is whether you have quality data. So that's why I asked you to ask those questions to ChatGPT and Gemini and so on. Even when you give a simple multiplication, many times it will give a wrong answer, right? Because it is designed in a different way, so you have to be very careful when you use these technologies, okay? But a lot of serious things can happen when you use these technologies. I'm going to also talk about how you can successfully use these technologies to add value and create an impact and so on. So about 10 years back, IBM, using their IBM Watson, collaborated with one of the cancer research centers, which is called MD Anderson Cancer Research Center. The idea of this center idea of this research project or project is that can you come up with a recommendation for cancer treatment, right? So recommender system is one of the applications of AI, or you can say machine learning, all right? For example, when you go and buy product at Amazon or Flipkart, you start seeing recommendations. So it may say that people who purchase this also purchase that, right? You'll see a lot of other things getting recommended. Can somebody take a guess how much revenue is made by Amazon using their recommender system? Remember, this is one algorithm, right? And can you take a guess how much money is made by Amazon on an annual basis? Their recommender system generates more than $200 billion. $200 billion is the annual money generated by one algorithm, right? Just to give you some perspective, how big is $200 billion? There are more than 160 countries whose GDP is less than $200 billion. That's how big 200 billion is, right? So it's a very, very successful application. Recommender system is very successful application. That's what you start seeing that when you listen to Spotify or Netflix and any kind of OTT platform, even YouTube, they start recommending. It's basically, it tries to find what you like, what you don't like, and so on, right? So that is the same algorithm that IBM Watson was using to come up with a recommender system for cancer treatment. They spent several $1 million. There are different numbers. Some people say $64 million and 4 years. Some people quote much higher number. But it failed miserably. Now, why it failed miserably is because they did not have the right data. It's not the algorithm. You didn't have the right data, quality data. Because of that, the algorithm failed. So what I'm trying to say is, even though it's a very, very powerful technology, and before many of you may join analytics company or start your own analytics company, but remember that it works only when you have quality data, otherwise it will not work, right? So that's the first thing that you need to understand, right? Now let us look at artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It is a system that mimics human intelligence, or systems or machines that demonstrate human-like intelligence. Fine. What is intelligence? Think about it and tell me what is intelligence while I take some water to drink, okay? What is intelligence? Ability to take a right decision, great. Any other answer? Decision making based on the data, great. Any other answer? What is intelligence? Okay, if somebody has a very IQ score, does that mean that person is highly intelligent? IQ score of 160, do you think that implies highly intelligent person? No, why not? How well you can crack a test, right? How well you can crack a cat like that. That may not be indication of intelligence. Right? That may not be reflecting intelligence. For example, there is this person called Isaac Asimov. You can search about this person, Isaac Asimov. He is the one who coined the term robotics. So he had the highest IQ score of 165. So the 165, in the normalized scale, that's the maximum you can get, anyone can get, right? So he got a IQ score of 165, and he narrates this interesting story. The story is that one day while he was driving to his office, his car breaks down. And he opens the bonnet and tries to figure out what has caused the problem. And he couldn't figure out. And he tried everything he knew, he couldn't figure out, he couldn't fix the car. And finally he calls his mechanic, or basically he had a number of mechanic. He comes and looks at the car, and it didn't take even 2 minutes for him to fix the car, right? And he asked this question. So I have the highest IQ score in the world. What is the use of it, right? So the way in which you measure intelligence, you have to be very careful. The IQ intelligence is not an intelligence. It is ability to answer a question or do well in a particular way of evaluation, right? In fact, if I ask you, who is the most intelligent human that comes to your mind, right, in the last 200 years? So what do you think about Einstein? Is intelligent? Okay. What do you think about mathematician Ramanujan? What do you think about Richard Feynman? What do you think about Newton? My last name is, what do you think about Trump? Is Trump intelligent? Why no? Do you think Einstein could have won an American presidential election? Do you think Richard Feynman could have won a presidential election? Right? He is intelligent as far as winning the election is concerned. So when we talk about intelligence, it's multi-dimension, and we don't even know how many dimensions exist, right? So instead of trying to find, having this philosophical question of what do you mean by intelligence, let us try to understand what do we do with intelligence, right? It allows us to solve problems. It allows us to take decisions. Can we create a machine that can solve problems like how we do, that can take decisions like how we do, complex decision, right? So that's the end game. That's what we are trying to achieve. But we get our intelligence through our brain. The human brain, we probably understand very little. And the basic component of human brain is neuron. And there are 80 to 100 billion neurons. Each neuron is like a microcomputer. And each neuron is connected with another 10,000 neurons. So basically, the human brain is a computer network with 100 billion computers and 100 trillion connections. That's what human brain is. How am I going to recreate this? Right? Even if I recreate, there is a problem. What actually happens inside the neuron? Right? What do I mean by that? So the eyes are senses. Right? Let us say I'm trying to cross the road. Okay, of course, the most famous thing about Bangalore is what? Traffic. Right? So let us say, I don't know how many of you visited IIM Bangalore, and we are on the Banagatta road, we had to cross the road, and it's heavily, heavy traffic road. So I know how to cross the road. If I create a robot and ask that robot to cross the road, I'm sure it will be hit by at least 10 vehicles, right? So eyes are sensors. I can guess at what speed the vehicle is coming, or I can just show my hand, whatever way I'm going to cross without getting hit by some millions of vehicles which are going in that road, right? But it may not be possible for a robot to do that. The reason is that we still don't know what actually happens inside the neuron. We say that there is an electrochemical process that happens. We don't know what it is, right? So in all neural networks, we replace that electrochemical process with a mathematical function. We call it activation function. Typically, there is a mathematical function called sigmoid function that actually is a replacement for the electrochemical process that happens. We don't even know how close or how far away these are, right? So creating a human-like intelligence, even though you may be reading in lot of newspapers and a lot of magazines, okay, we are almost there. So within 2 years, there'll be human and so on, right? It is far away, okay? The natural intelligence is far, far superior than what some of these people write these columns saying that we are very, very close to create something like human. It's never going to happen, right? I mean, maybe never is not the right word. It's far away. It may happen, but it's very, very far away, right? So since creating a human intelligence is very difficult, at least we don't understand most of it, is there any alternative? The alternative is that with the current knowledge, I can't create human brain, but I can imitate human learning process. How do we learn? We learn through practice, we learn through experience. For example, let us say I want to learn to play tennis, or I want to learn to play guitar. What do? I hire a coach. Let us say I want to play tennis, hire a coach, and the coach takes me to the court and teaches me how to serve, how to return the ball, and so on. So every coaching session I have with my coach is an opportunity for me to learn to play tennis better, right? Every data you give it to the algorithm is an opportunity for the algorithm to learn to perform a task better. For example, recommender system, like how recommender systems are created by Amazon or Netflix or YouTube and so on. I'll just show a video and you'll see how it works. Just watch this video. Okay, the audio is not coming.
Interested in developing the concept of machine learning even further. To create algorithms that can learn just like we do, directly from experience.
So this demonstration, I think, illustrates the direction that algorithms will go in the years ahead.
Okay, I can see a lot of films up here. So what's the algorithm going to do?
What we've got is a couple of hundred of the most commonly watched films. And what it's going to do, it's going to learn about your personal likes and dislikes, okay? Now, it's already been trained, so it's a machine learning algorithm behind the scenes, but it's already been trained on data from about 10,000 people. What it's going to do now is to learn about your preferences. Now, at the moment, it knows nothing about you. So these films are just arranged at random on the screen. So what I need you to do is to find one of these films, either one that you like or one that you don't like. If you like it, you can drag it across to the green region. Okay. If you don't like it, across to the red region.
All right, so Rushmore. I'm a big fan of Rushmore.
You like Rushmore?
Let's stick that. Well, okay.
Right. So what's happening now is that if a film is down the right-hand side near the green region, it's very confident you'll like it.
Okay.
So down here, close to the red region, it's very confident you won't like it. And in the middle, it's 50-50. It doesn't really know.
Uh-huh. So what if I choose a movie in the middle here? I'm not a great Austin Powers fan,
all right.
So let's shoot that one.
Okay, so you see they're beginning to spread out sideways a little. It's becoming a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's pretty good here, because, yeah, I'm a big fan of Dr. Strangelove.
Okay.
And, yeah, I'm a big fan of Woody Allen, but Spinal Tap, no, I think it thinks I'll like that.
So that's interesting. So when it was confident you liked them and you said you liked them, not much happened, because it didn't learn much from that data.
Yeah.
When it was confident you'd like it, in the case of Spinal Tap, and you said, I don't like it, there was a big change.
It's learning things from me. I'm actually changing the algorithm as I interact with it.
Exactly. Whereas Connect was trained in the laboratory and then frozen.
Okay, I stop there. So basically, what we use today heavily is machine learning algorithms, which imitate human learning process. Every data you give it to the model, every interaction that you make, every time you use your OTT platform, you're giving the data to them. And that's the data which actually used by this algorithm to learn better about your likes and dislikes and so on, right? And there are advanced versions of machine learning that you call deep learning. And deep learning is what is heavily used in generative AI, from where you get your chat GPTs and Geminis and all that, okay? Why is AI important, right? AI plays a very, very important role because if you look at innovation is very important for value creation. So if you are doing like what others do, for example, while I was coming to Hubli around the railway station of Hubli, I saw a lot of these peda shops, right? Now, if you're doing same thing as somebody else doing, you will end up competing based on the price, right? But how do I do something better than what others do, right? And that's where innovation plays a very, very important role, okay? So a lot of companies use AI for innovation. And I'm going to show this video from Sundar Pichai. This is about 1-year-old video, but it gives you an idea how Google uses AI for innovation.
Last year at Google I/O, we announced Google AI. It's a collection of our teams and efforts to bring the benefits of AI to everyone. And we want this to work globally, so we are opening AI centers around the world. AI is going to impact many, many fields. And I want to give you a couple of examples today. Healthcare is one of the most important fields AI is going to transform. Last year, we announced our work on diabetic retinopathy, which is a leading cause of blindness, and we use deep learning to help doctors diagnose it earlier. And we've been running field trials since then at Aravind and Sankara hospitals in India, and the field trials are going really well. We are bringing expert diagnosis to places where trained doctors are scarce. It turned out, using the same retinal scans, there were things which humans quite didn't know to look for, but our AI systems offered more insights. Your same eye scan turns out holds information with which we can predict the 5-year risk of you having an adverse cardiovascular event, heart attack or strokes.
So what was he saying? He says that I can look at somebody's retina scan and figure out whether this person will have heart attack in the next 5 years, right? Today, if you want to figure out whether someone has a cardiovascular disease, you start with ECG, which is very unreliable, and go on to a TMT, and then angiogram to figure out if there are any issues with the heart. But he says, I don't have to do any of that. I can look at somebody's retina scan and then tell what is the chance that this person will have a heart attack in the next 5 years, right? So it's a completely non-invasive procedure, right? Human body is very complex. Okay, human mind is bigger than the universe, right? But human body is quite complex. Why is it complex? Because when somebody gets an issue, many times we don't even know why that person is getting that issue. For example, allergy. The doctor will tell you, okay, you have this allergy, don't eat that food. That's it. He will not tell you why you got that allergy, right? For example, headache, right? Maybe once in a while we get headache. Do you know how many reasons are there why a human gets a headache? Can you think of a number? How many reasons exist? 1,000? Okay. Beyond that? So when I asked this question, one student says, sitting in your class is one of the reasons why we get headache, right? So there are more than 800 reasons why we get headache. Now, suppose let us say you have a headache, you go to the doctor and I have a headache, he will simply say, eat some paracetamol, and fingers crossed, it become all right. If it doesn't become all right, then we have to worry, right? So there are a lot of human diseases like when, as I said, allergy, and also autoimmune disease. There are more than 250 autoimmune diseases. And there are no diagnostics which can actually figure out that a person is having this problem because of some autoimmune disease, right? So the point I'm trying to take is that we have limitations of to what extent we can do that invasive diagnostic test to figure out why a person gets a particular health issue, right? Now, the question is how AI can help, right? Now, one is the deep learning algorithms can include several trillion parameters, right? I'm not looking at some 5 or 6 factors. I'm looking at trillion parameters to actually solve a problem, okay? We have used simple machine learning to solve a problem. We actually collaborated with one of the startup companies based out of Hyderabad, which is called Abhayantra, to develop a non-invasive model to predict neonatal sepsis. Sepsis is a bacterial infection of blood. So if the blood gets infected, since blood is traveling to all the human body parts, it may result in failure. That's how frequently multiple organ failures happen. And it is one of the highest reasons for mortality in hospitals, right? And if it happens in neonatal, it is much more serious because the newborn babies, their immune system is still not developed. And the other issue is that if you want to diagnose whether somebody has sepsis or not, you have to do a blood culture test, right? Even in city like Hubli, it may take about 3 days for you to get the test. Now imagine a remote village, right? We have probably about 6 lakh villages, and most of these villages may not have hospitals or diagnostic center or even a nurse. They have somebody called ASHA workers. So ASHA workers is a system of human resource created so that they can help expecting mothers in that village, right? They are typically married women living in that village, and they are given some basic training. It's more like a midwife kind of thing. Now, let us say a child, newborn child, or let us say a toddler has a fever. Now, one thing is the ASHA worker may see, okay, maybe a viral fever, we can wait, within 2-3 days it may go. So that's a hope. But if it is not a ordinary viral fever, if it is sepsis, then it can lead to serious complications. So in India, the mortality rate because of mortality rate in neonatal sepsis is about 25, right? One of the worst in the world, right? Now the thing is, can we help ASHA workers so that they can figure out whether it is a sepsis or not by using non-invasive parameters? You're not putting any needle in the baby, still we can diagnose whether that is sepsis or not, right? So these are the kind of innovation one can make. We developed the model. I will not go through the model. So this is the kind of innovation that you can do using AI. The second major thing that one can achieve using AI is automation, right? Today, you can automate many different aspects of business and create a system that takes care of the customer needs and so on. Just watch this video.
No. It's just construction. That's all. No. I'm not driving.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you?
I'm good.
Oh, no, not you. Listen, I'm going to have to call my agent. I'm going to get right back to you.
Mr. Burton, this is InsureCorp. We've received sensor data that indicates you were in an accident. Are you injured in any way?
I'm not injured, no.
Is anyone else injured?
I don't believe so.
Okay, where's my agent's number?
We have pinpointed your location, and we are showing your car is not drivable. So we are dispatching an Uber car to take you to your destination.
That would be great.
I'm pressing 1. English. E-N-G-L-I, English.
May we give your coordinates to our appraiser drone to perform the appraisal?
Absolutely.
We have received the photos, assessed the damage, authorized the repair, selected a qualified repair facility, and have dispatched a tow truck to take your vehicle to that facility.
Perfect.
Yes, hi, this is... Yes, I'll hold.
We have looked up the other vehicle's insurance, transmitted the appropriate data to create the claim, and filed the California SR1 accident report. Can you confirm the information is correct on your phone, then hit the accept button?
I'll check it right now. Okay, all done.
Thank you. Your Uber car is arriving now.
I see it coming.
Accident, not payment. Accident.
Your tow truck should be there now. Don't forget to leave your keys in the vehicle. Thank you for using InsureCore, powered by Pivotal Labs.
Nice. So today, cars have a lot of IoT devices. And whenever there is an impact or sudden deceleration, that triggers signal, and those signals is transmitted to the insurance company. So they're calling, they also have the GIS system, they know where the car is. And they're checking with the driver whether everything is all right. And they're also sending a drone, taking the image, trying to assess the damage to the car. And then they say, okay, don't worry, we will send you a Uber car, you can continue with your journey, we are going to take your car to the repair facility, right? This is customer engagement. This kind of customer engagement is not possible without AI kind of technology, right? First reason why we use AI is for innovation. Second is for automation. Third is for insights, right? So what do I mean by that, right? If you look at this is a screenshot from Big Basket. Do you have Big Basket in Hubli? Online grocery store? Okay, Blinkit. Okay, so something similar to that. So here what you see is one customer is adding items to her cart, and Big Basket asks that question at the bottom, did you forget? Right? You can see that. Now, if a customer forgets, it's his or her problem, right? Why is Big Basket asking this question? Why are they in so much love with the customer? This person may not be able to have dinner, proper dinner today because he forgot to add some important item. Why do you think they're asking this question? What's the problem that they're trying to solve? Okay, come on. Increasing the sales? Is that the core problem? So remember, I said the starting point of AI is your ability to ask the right question. If you're not asking the right question, then you're not going to add much value. So this question has a very, very important reason, right? It's not just about adding, making the customer buy more and so on. There is a basic problem, right, which all the human and animals have. What is that? Sorry? Memory. You are, to some extent, right, forgetfulness, right? We tend to forget, right? It's a nature's trick to ensure that everything goes fine. Let me ask a question. What percentage of men forget their wedding anniversary? 50%, 60%, 40%? What's 100%? Men are not that bad. They may not be able to get the university ranks, but then, they are not that bad also. Okay, according to Gemini, 82% of the men have forgotten wedding anniversary at least once. Okay, what percentage of men forget their wife or girlfriend's birthday? Any number? Is it going to be less than this or more than this? More? Less? If they forget their girlfriend's birthday, she will become ex-girlfriend. So maybe, that number may be less. Okay, again, Google says 52% of the men have forgotten their wife or girlfriend's birthday at least once, right? And there is a country called Samoa. If you forget your wife's birthday, it is considered as domestic negligence, and you can go to jail for 5 years, right? Now, forgetfulness as a kind of nature's creation is very, very important, because that's how nature, to some extent, rejuvenates itself, right? For example, squirrel. Why do you think squirrels exist? Why do you think nature created squirrel? What is the squirrel's job? They plant more trees than anybody else. That's what squirrels do. So let us say you have your favorite food given to you, but you are not hungry. What do? You said, I'll eat it later, and you keep it somewhere. That's exactly what squirrels do. So they actually store nuts in different parts of the, wherever their habitat area, and forget where they place that, and they become tree, right? So the forgetfulness is a very, very important property of the entire, life. So, but if customers forget, right? Let us look at what happens in case of retail purchase. 60% of us forget at least 1 or 2 items when it comes to grocery purchase. So even if you have the habit of writing in a cheat sheet, you forget to write in the cheat sheet, right? So what happens to Big Basket because of that? Big Basket makes about 400,000 transactions, right? And if the forgotten items value is about 500 rupees, then the maximum revenue loss they can have is 4,380 crores, right? Even if it is 100 rupees, it is 876 crores. That's the revenue loss Big Basket can have because we have the tendency to forget. That's why they're asking that question, did you forget? So your ability to ask the right question is very, very important. Okay, fine, now you asked a question. How are you going to find out, right? You asked, did you forget? How are you going to find out whether or what items this person has forgotten, this customer has forgotten? Any idea how you can actually figure out whether somebody has forgotten something? Sorry? Purchase history, good point.
So
then what do you do?
Regularly ordered products.
Okay, somebody has to raise, yeah. Regularly ordered products.
Yes.
Purchase history, very similar, yes. Search history, all right. Then what do you want? So I give you a transaction history of a customer, yeah. What do you do then?
Not about just a particular person, seeing data of various people, what they are ordering in a particular area,
Okay.
and judging based on that.
Okay. Anything else? So when you ask this question, did you forget? Right? There are a hierarchy of products. For example, are you going to ask the customer, did you forget 100 ml Diet Coke can? Or are you going to ask, did you forget Coke? Or are you going to ask, did you forget soft drink? Now, these have different complexities. If you ask, did you forget 100 ml Diet Coke can, you're asking at a SKU level, individual unit level. At the time when we were doing this, they had about 18,000 SKUs, shopkeeping units, right? So it is going to increase the complexity, right? So when a customer adds items to his or her cart, immediately you want to predict whether the customer has forgotten something or not. You cannot send a message to customer asking him or her to listen to your music because you are trying to figure out whether you have forgot something or not, right? Nobody is going to wait, okay? And also, these are all real-time solutions. You're asking this question in the real time. You don't have time to think about and all that. And when you're asked that question, you need to also ensure that you are able to respond if the customer responds to the question in a positive way. So what do I mean by that? Suppose, let us say the question asked is, did you forget mango? Right? And the customer response is yes, and he checks the box. But this is based on whatever the past transactional history, right? This is based on what the customer was buying in the past. But it's January, there is no mango in the market. You also don't have a mango, right? But because of the past history, you ask that question. Now, you cannot go and create a pop-up message to customer telling him that, sorry, we also forgot to buy mango, right? So when you ask that question, you have to ensure in real time you have the product with you. Because at the end of this, inventory keeps depleting. You may run out of the stock. You have to be careful when you ask those questions and so on. So the question is, how do you solve this problem, right? There is something called cold start problem. What is this cold start problem? If you have a customer is registered and buying items from the Big Basket for the first time, there is no transactional history. What do you do then? Right? A person without any history, how are you going to predict whether somebody has forgotten or not, right? There is a other problem which is very specific to India. Because if you look at any Western world, or most of the other parts of the world, you have the vegetarians and vegans and non-vegetarians, right? But India also, we have vegetarians, vegan and non-vegetarians, but then this non-vegetarians are problematic group. They suddenly become vegetarian for a few days, right? So during Navaratri, I don't even smell non-veg. Forget about, eating, right? So, and it is different for different people. It depends on who their favorite god is, okay? The question is, how do you then figure out this particular person is not going to touch non-veg during this month? And that month is different for a different person, right? How do you know that, okay? Now, these are the challenges that you face when you actually create a solution using machine learning or artificial intelligence. Okay, now, how do we even create a solution, right? What we did, we used Google's page ranking algorithm. It's one of the case studies that we publish at the Harvard Business Publishing. Now, what does Google's page ranking algorithm does, right? When you enter a search word in Google, it actually searches the entire internet and displays the pages which are most relevant for the search word you entered in the search box, right? Now, that is coming from something called Google's page ranking algorithm. And whenever you have an algorithm, you need to understand how innovatively you can use that algorithm. I'll just show you how the algorithm works. This is a video of how the Google's page ranking algorithm works. Just watch this.
In 1998, in this garage in Menlo Park, California, an important piece of algorithmic history was made. Inside were two PhD students from Stanford University, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Their aim was to come up with a search engine that could find things efficiently on the World Wide Web. Out of these humble beginnings, Google was born. But Google wouldn't be Google if it wasn't for the algorithm that Larry and Sergey created, called PageRank. PageRank was the algorithm at the heart of the first incarnation of the Google search engine. Now, technically, it's not a search algorithm, but a ranking algorithm. So when you type a query into a search engine, then there are literally millions of pages which will match that query. What PageRank does is to rank all of those pages such that the one at the top is the one that you're most likely to be interested in.
Larry and Sergey came up with the idea to do PageRank, to use it as a ranking signal to improve the quality of web search. I remember myself at the time, you used a web search engine like AltaVista. You would have to click the next page link a lot of times to find what you were looking for. PageRank was one of the reasons why Google was so much better than the existing search engines at the time.
The inner workings of PageRank are hidden from view on the World Wide Web. So to reveal how it does its job, we're going to use the PageRank algorithm to rank the players of a football team.
PageRank looks at two things. It looks at the incoming links to a web page, that is, the other pages that link to the page, and it looks at how important those pages are.
In our demonstration to show the cleverness of the PageRank algorithm, the players in the football team are the web pages, and the passes between them are the web links, the input for the algorithm. Generally speaking, the PageRank algorithm will give a higher rank to a website if it's got a lot of links coming from other websites. So in the case of football, if a player gets more passes from the rest of the team, then they'll be ranked higher. It's not quite that simple, because the PageRank algorithm actually gives more weight to a link from a website that itself has a high PageRank. So actually a pass from a popular player is worth more than a pass from a player who's hardly involved in the game at all. This is a visualization of the algorithm at work. The stats are the player's current ranking, the output of the algorithm. And every time there's a pass, these rankings are updated. When Google uses this algorithm, it only changes one thing, the input. In place of parses, it uses web links.
Note that the importance of a page depends on the importance of the pages that link to it. This means that you have to compute PageRank for all the pages at the same time. And you actually have to repeat the computation because each time you'll update the importance of all the pages. And that in turn will influence the importance of the pages that those pages link to.
At the end of the match, the job of the algorithm is done. If we wanted to search for the key player in the team, this is PageRank's answer. Player 11 has the highest PageRank score.
So, if you look at Google's page ranking algorithm, it basically tries to rank the websites. We replace the websites with the grocery items based on the transactional history of the purchase by the customers and how different items are associated with one another. So when we created the solution, what we found was in 23% of the cases, none of those products which were recommended were picked up by the customer, right? But the good thing is in 71% of the cases, more than 50% of the products were picked up by the customer. So that's the starting point, right? And you try to keep on improving this algorithm so that you, at some point in time, try to figure out probably 80, 90% of the items which are forgotten by the customer, okay? So the third reason why we use AI is to gain insights, and it adds a lot of value because of that. The fourth reason is you create agents, right? So your chatbot is, in a way, is an agent. You create agents so that you improve the operations and efficiency of the operation and so on. For example, if you look at a large language model like ChatGPT and so on, it's a very, very generic system, right? You ask all kinds of questions. But I can create a generic or specific large language model. For example, let us say I want to serve an insurance company, or I want to respond to queries on tax, or even legal issues. So can I create something similar to ChatGPT? Then it becomes an agent which can be used in that industry, right? Just watch this video. This is a video created by Deloitte.
Hello there. How can I help you with your VAT problem?
At Deloitte, we developed a proof of concept for a virtual tax advisor, which analyzes client cases and can provide a prediction how a court would rule in such a case.
Can you show us all the ECG court cases?
Showing all VAT court cases. 776 cases found.
Can you show us all the ECG court cases with insurance, brokers, and outsourcing?
Presenting.
Okay. So that's an example of agentic agent. Sorry, AI agents, not agentic AI. So what does that mean? You can, before the exam, you can ask these agents what questions will be asked by the professor in the exam, right? Don't do that. I'm just saying, example of AI agents. Agentic AI is, you can say, one level above AI agents, where it can also take autonomous decisions in a complex environment. Just to give you a easier to understand example is your self-driving cars. But then that's at a very, very high level, but there are a lot of agents which are created as part of the process which improve the process efficiency, decision making, and so on. Right, so this is how AI systems work, right? So you use it for innovation, you use it for automation, use it for insights, create agents, and also today come up with agentic AI. And most of this today also involves generative AI concepts, right? But for you to become successful, right, you have to create an impact. To create an impact, you need to have the right data, use right tool, and you need to understand what do you mean by impact, right? So for an organization, for example, let us say your college, how do you measure impact? How can we measure impact for any organization? I just used the college, not necessarily this one, any college. How do you measure impact of that college? Or how do you measure impact of any organization for that matter? What do you mean by impact? Yeah? Placement performance? Placement performance of the college? Okay. Is that it? So if, let us say, 100% placement, that's an impact? Salary doesn't matter? I can place everybody for 50,000 per year. That's okay? Will you accept? So what is an impact? How do you measure impact? So one way to measure impact is how you are transforming the society itself, right? It should be a transformation that you do in the society. For example, there is a company called Martin Baker, right? After the session, you can just go and visit their website. Martin Baker makes fighter aircraft ejection seats. So whenever the pilot feels that the aircraft may crash, he can save himself by ejecting the seat. It just becomes like a parachute, and then he can save himself. So if you go to their website, they don't talk about how they make ejection seat and all that. You'll see only one number. So that's this number. What is this number? This number says how many people were saved by them because of their ejection seat product. So you need to have a clarity on when you say impact, what do you mean by impact, right? If you have that clarity, then obviously you'll do better, right? That's true for any organization. So their purpose for existence is to save people. And that's the only reason why they exist, okay? And that's why you see that number. We exist to save people. What is the reason for existence of institutes like this? Or for example, even IIMs or IITs, any institute. What are the reasons for existence? Have you ever asked that question? Is it to create leaders? What do you mean by leaders? Right? So when you get that kind of clarity, not just about organization or institution like this, even about your life, then you have a better way to navigate through this world and life and so on, right? So I'll stop here. You know the generative AI, which is basically content creator. You can create large number of contents using that. I'll skip some of these things. You would have seen this. But remember, it's still not a mature technology, right? Because the repeatability is not there. So why I'm saying is that most of the contents that you may see in YouTube may be probably AI generated. So if it looks very emotional, don't get emotional because it may not have happened at all. It's just AI generated content, okay? And a few months back, Harvard Business Review published an article in which they said that most of the movies by 2030 will be through AI, right? So I don't know who is going to get Oscar. Is AI going to get or some actor or actress going to get? So look at this expression. Let us say there's a very emotional scene in the movie, and they're all AI-generated contents, right? Be careful because it's not the capability of that actor or actresses. It's like AI has done this. And today you can create a lot of things with Gen AI. It's a simple prompt. So this entire video is a simple prompt which basically says create a video of California during gold rush. So it has created this video. Just one line, that's it. Okay, I escaped this. All right. Before I go to this, remember, AI cannot create anything without data, right? But having said that, there is a drawback of AI. There was a study which was done by a team at Cornell University, right? They wanted to understand how AI impacts, specifically generative AI like your ChatGPT and all, impact the student learning. So what they did, they created two groups. One group of students, so typically these institutions have assignments to be submitted every day, right? For every subject, they'll have 3-4 assignments every week. So they asked one group of students, okay, you can use GenAI or any LLM model to prepare response or respond to the assignment questions. They created another group of students where they said, you're not even using internet, right? You have to respond without, maybe go to the library, read the textbooks and so on. So they allowed these two groups to continue with that for 4 months, right? And after that, they said, both the groups, you can't use GenAI, right? And they started giving the new set of assignments. Now, what happened was that the critical thinking went down among students who are using GenAI, right? So it severely impacted their language skills and critical thinking skills. So when you use these technologies, you have to be very careful what you're doing to yourself, right? Do you know what is the attention span of human now? 7 seconds. Yesterday it was 8. It has come down. So it's about 8 seconds, right? And the goldfish is about 9 seconds. Goldfish has more attention span than human. How did we reach to this point, right? So when we use these technologies, you need to also understand what this technology does to us, right? I had to use, with a lot of caution, any of these technologies. But then there are a lot of funds that can happen using GenAI. Because you can create all fancy content using GenAI. Let me show this video. Let's listen to this song. This is a famous polka song from Finnish. It's a folklore in Finland. If you give this to AI, what do you think it will do? You are giving it training data. And then you say AI, innovate this, right? This is what it will do. It's the same thing. So nobody knew about this polka song, right? So today, a lot of reality shows in China, they use this polka song. Just watch this. And people don't even know where is this original coming from.
也是他的那种感觉，就甩葱歌啦。第一次才会讲这样的歌。是他的声音啊。不是。
So in 1930s, when people were questioning whether we can create machines that would think like human, right? The idea is that we'll create machine that will imitate human. Now we have reached a stage where human is imitating a machine, right? That's basically what's happening. But be careful with this technology because many times it may not give you the right answer, so don't think that the answer given by ChatGPT is the right answer. And also, using them without any control may impact you from critical thinking and so on. You may actually lose thinking, right? Because you're always using ChatGPT to find answer to a problem that is given to you, right? I'll skip this. I'll stop here. That's my last slide. Thank you very much. It was nice interacting with you guys. Okay, now if you have any questions, you are free to ask. Yeah? Can you please, someone give mic to her?
Hello, sir. So I have two questions. First, as a student, what's the best way I can use AI? As you said, I shouldn't use it for assignments and stuff. What's the best way I can use AI? So,
Don't use AI as your master. Use AI as your slave. Right?
Okay.
You be the master. So that means, so if I look at my professors at IIT when they were doing PhD, they used to literally go to the library, look at the hardbound volumes of the journals to understand what has been done in the past, right? But when I started doing PhD, the internet was just coming, so I don't have to waste a lot of time to understand what is done in the literature, right? So internet was giving, okay, this is the work which was done, okay? But use it as an input so that you don't lose your critical thinking, right? It is important because there are low-value tasks, right? For low-value tasks, you always can use AI tools. But when it comes to real critical thinking, don't use them. We have a computer network with 100 billion computers and 100 trillion connection. We should use that, okay?
yes.
Yeah.
So one more question. In this generation, we already know AI is influencing all the business modes, fields. Do you have some recommendation for courses that we all students should take or something like that?
Okay. So you need to, you are a BBA student?
Yes, sir.
And is there any specialization?
Not yet, sir. I'm in first semester.
Okay. So what is likely to happen is that there was a recent study by an economist called Michael Spence, right? What he said is that because of AI, about 10% of the jobs will disappear. So for example, editing jobs, right? So whenever you write an article, you send it to an editor, ask the editor to check the grammar and all that, right? So you don't do that. You have AI tools like Grammarly, or you can even ask your ChatGPT to do that, right? Even sentence formation. So the editorial jobs is disappearing, right? So like that, there are a lot of jobs which are going to disappear. So that estimate is about 10%. The remaining out of 90%, about 2/3 of them will be integrated with AI. For example, let us say marketing promotions, right? Whenever you're doing a marketing promotion, let us say you have to come up with some content, right? So the content creation, you have to be very careful because you cannot ask AI to create a content by itself. Even if you are great at prompt engineering, it still may not be the right one for your purpose. But for example, let us say when I'm creating a promotion, I may come up with 4 different options to the client, but your AI can give you 400 different options, right? But you have to be cautious because still you have to figure out using the human intelligence which one is the most appropriate. So because of AI, 2/3 of the jobs will be integrated with AI tools. So that means you need to understand what these tools are and how it works. So irrespective of whichever domain you are going to, your career-wise you are looking at, it is, you have to figure out, okay, if this is the domain I want to work, okay, how AI is changing the domain, right? So if you want to go to the banking and finance, you have to figure out, okay, what kind of tools, AI tools banking and finance is using, and you can talk about them when you go to the interview and so on, right? But there are about another 20% of jobs where AI is not going to touch. It has not reached a stage it is going to have any impact, right? So one quick answer to your question is that you have some ideas where you want to work, which industry you want to work. You need to understand how AI is getting used. But as a basic course, you need to understand data science, how the data science works, because everything else is built upon data science. And you also understand how the machine learning works, right? That is enough for you to lay the foundation, and rest are all apps that you see are built on that. And you have to just simply learn how to use that app. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Many small businesses can't afford a person who knows data analysis and everything. So do you think AI is well enough when given data, it can help us in future prediction for sales and planning for the products.
See, when you say small, you're referring to small firms?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And
see, data science or AI is not just for Googles and Apples or Microsoft the world. We have done a lot of projects. I'll give you a couple of them. One is Akshay Patra. You have Akshay Patra here, right, Hubli? So we have 2 kitchens in Bangalore, and I'm referring to 2014, more than 10 years back now. So from that, one of the kitchen, they used to serve about, you can sit, 185,000 meals every day, right? So these are schools in and around Bangalore. It's a free meal that you are giving to the school children, right? Mostly government schools and schools in the rural area. The kind of problem that they face is not any different from the problem that Amazon or any other big retailer face. For example, at the time, the budget for every meal is about 7 rupee 50 paise. So that's the budget they allocate for every meal. It's a public-private partnership, right? 50% of them come from government. They give rice and pulses and so on. And 50% of them are through donors. There are corporate donors, there are individual donors. That's how the money gets pooled, and that's how they are able to give this service, right? Now, they, since it's a public-private partnership, they have agreed to certain conditions. For example, each meal should provide certain calories, certain lipids, certain amount of protein, and so on. Now, if you look at the price fluctuation, it's a maximum among the grocery items, vegetables, and so on. Your onion can be 30 rupees and it can become 200 rupees, right? Potato can be 20 rupees, it can be 200 rupees. Now, the question is, how do you ensure that you are able to provide same amount of nutrition to the students when the price fluctuates heavily? You cannot, as for example, let us say potato has become, say, 150 rupees from 30 rupees. Now, you can't reduce the amount of potato that you put, right? So how do you manage that? That is, so how do you come up with a solution? So they use a lot of data science to come up with a solution, right? And they have a condition which is, basically it says, we will provide freshly prepared food. What is the definition of freshly prepared food? The cooking to consumption time should be less than 6 hours, right? So how do you ensure that the cooking, you cannot cook the previous day and then go and give that food to the children, right? It's not a freshly prepared food. So that you need to ensure that it's freshly prepared food. How do you do that? How do you ensure that, right? You're not cooking for some 200 people or even 1,000 people, 185,000 students, okay? And there's serious other problem where you have Bangalore traffic and the food should be delivered before 12 o'clock, right? Sometimes we may get stuck at our gate for half an hour. And their furthest school is 40 kilometers away. So how do you ensure that every day the food reaches them before 12 noon, right? So when you try to solve these problems, you use a lot of AI tools. So don't think that AI is only for big companies. A lot of micro, small and medium companies can benefit by using AI. They can make it more and more efficient. Any other question? Yeah?
Hi, sir. My first question being that in the beginning of the seminar, you had said that it will take AI many years to come to become a bit closer to humans. But when we look at the changing technologies, like how nanotechnology is used for diagnosis of cancer, and when you mentioned about the newer steps is some disease where AI is able to predict the disease, can we agree that AI is not becoming human, but it is becoming a better decision maker and better analyzer more than human?
Okay, good point. It is becoming better is different from it is becoming achieving human intelligence, right? The nature, we should not underestimate the intelligence of nature. We misuse the earth that we live. We throw a lot of plastic on the ground, right? We spit, and we, like people use all kinds of tobacco products and spit on the earth. How long this earth is going to tolerate all that? Okay? Okay, forget about that. Have you seen earthworm?
Yes.
What does earthworm do? What is the job of earthworm?
Composition of
It makes the land fertile. Why the nature thought about this? I need to create an earthworm which will make the land fertile. Why that need? So typically when you go and interact with, for example, software companies, we do a need analysis. When you come up with a need, when you go and create a new software, first, okay, need analysis. Let us do what is needed. Why did nature think that I will need an earthworm? Why? Because it knew that we are going to spoil it. We are going to put fertilizer and we are going to spoil the earth. Who is going to repair it? Do you think AI can repair the soil? Right? So it thought about that this is going to happen. It created earthworm. Earthworm is the one which repairs the earth. Right? I don't think AI can do it. I don't think human can do it. Okay? You can use some natural products to do it. That's a different thing. But the job of the earthworm cannot be done by anybody else. There are a lot of insects which do similar, not only earthworm, but there is a very famous quote by Darwin. Of all the things that nature has created, the earthworm contributes the maximum to the rejuvenation of the earth. Right? So the point I'm making is that improving, getting better is not same as you are achieving the intelligence of the nature. Right? That we need to understand. And each and every insect, for example, bees, the contribution of the bees is again much more than the human, right? In making this earth sustainable. All right? So, yes, AI will become better, right? AI will become smarter, but AI will not replace the nature's intelligence. It is impossible because this intelligence probably evolved over several million or if not billion years. That's how it has evolved, right? So if you want to learn anything, you have to sit down below a tree and observe the nature. Then you'll understand how intelligent the nature is. All right? Okay, second question.
One more question is that when you showed about the slides of the Facebook data where you had shown, so as the business students, we would require data analytics more than any other person. So what are the resources or what is your framework for us to learn about data science and data analytics?
So we have a lot of course on SWAYAM. So I have my course on foundations of data science, predictive analytics, and so on. IIM Bangalore has a lot of courses at SWAYAM, which is a free. Anybody can go and register and learn, right? So that is a starting point. And apart from that, we also have, so SWAYAM courses are free courses. It's actually meant for students so that they don't have to pay. They can learn the course, basically the concepts. In addition to that, we also do a lot of courses at IIM Bangalore. They're all obviously, some of them are paid. And we have 1-year certificate program and a part-time program and all that. So in fact, we have a MBA in business analytics at IIM Bangalore. So these are the options we have. Then there are a lot of content, right? And a lot of content available in the net, but then you need to ensure that you can trust that content, right? Not every content is actually true. But having said that, content in SWAYAM is curated by IIM Bangalore. All the management-related topics at SWAYAM is curated by IIM. So that is the starting point, okay? Does somebody want to ask a question? Yeah. Can give from here.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is that nowadays people are preferring AI platforms is because they seek someone for emotional availability. Like people talk about their issues and AI gives instant solutions or answers. So what are your thoughts on this, and do you think it is okay and normal for people to be dependent on AI and not humans for suggestions or solutions?
So how do I find solution to my emotional problem? Did I get your question right?
Yes, sir.
We are all born with solution to that. Okay, let me tell you a famous story. I'm a big fan of Zen. right? All of you know about Zen? Okay. So Zen was started by a person called Bodhidharma, right? And Shaolin Temple, the famous Shaolin Temple, that's to some extent his creation. Kung Fu is his creation. So one day he was meditating at Shaolin Temple, and there was a guy called Ika, right? And he looks at him, he looks at his posture and very peaceful face and all that. And then when he was awake, he goes to him and then asks him, can you please teach me what you know, right? But Damo, that's what Chinese call him, ignores it. He says, I can't teach anything. But he was very persistent. And one day he asked him, okay, what's your problem, right? Why do you want me to teach you? So he says, it's about my mind. It is always restless, right? And can you teach me so that I can calm my mind? And Damo tells, okay, go and get that mind to me. I will pacify that, right? And he says, how do I get my mind? Okay, figure that out. How you're going to get it. So it's like, put in your tiffin box and get your mind to me. I will just fix it. So all the emotional problems when you want to solve, that's why you have to go back to the nature again. We were born with a solution to all these problems, right? In simple terms, just meditate, you'll find an answer. When the mind is silenced, you'll find an answer, right? But talking to someone is helpful. Should be a true teachers. Don't trust on all these fake people who tell that I solve everybody's problem. But you will, when the mind is silence, right, or when you are in silence, you'll find answer to all your questions. So my answer is meditate. And there are a lot of meditation techniques which will calm the mind. When the mind is calm, you'll find answer to your problem. Okay? All right.
Thank you. Sir,
yeah.
Out of the topic, not related to AI, but related to IIM in general. So usually, India needs manufacturing sector as of now. So even though India is something of manufacturing centric, but why does IIM has this more towards job centric side than towards startup centric?
Okay, so that's not cell, right? Currently is incubating 852 companies, because I remember this number, I was giving this number to somebody 2 days back, right? 852 companies. Out of that, okay, they all call deep tech companies, and some of them are AI-based companies. But the important thing is, out of these 852 companies, 140 companies are in tier 3 towns and cities, basically tier 3 towns. So we are going to rural areas and helping their entrepreneurs, right? So what you hear is basically what students, probably majority of the students do, but that's not what IIM does. There is a preference of the students, but as an institution, what we do, we encourage entrepreneurship, and currently there are 852 startups are incubated by IIM, not in IIM campus. This is throughout India. So we have a startup in Kargil, we have a startup in Tirunelveli, right? So that's what we do. This may be due to the risk-averse nature of students, right? It may not be at IIM, it may be true for many institutions. Now the thing is, how do you nudge students so that they take risk? So what we do is, if a student wants to have their own startup, we actually give them 2-year off, and even give some kind of funding and so on, so that they can try out. Because if you look at startups, only less than 5% ever become successful, right? So because of the statistics, naturally you can expect students to be risk averse and not take that immediately after the graduation. Maybe after they become financial security, achieve financial security, they may go and do some startup. So that happens once our students reach the age of 40, but not immediately after the graduation. So the thing is, how do you actually nudge them so that they can take risk? So we tell them, okay, you have idea, go and try it out. You can try it out 2 years. We can even arrange for funding. If it fails, you come back to us, we'll find a job for you. So you have to do a positive nudging so that the students, instead of going and taking a job, they can try out because they may have great ideas. And it's not just for IIM, it's true for any institutions where, given our society, our economic conditions, it's also not fair why students are going and taking job instead of trying out their own ideas. The thing is, the statistics is out there. More than 90% of them fail. So which student would take 90% risk, right? He or she is going to fail. Now, we should accept failure. That means we need to create a society, failure is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So that change has to happen, right? Even if you fail, there is a mechanism where there is a backing from the society. Forget about IIM. IIM is one part of the society, right? We need to also support them in case of failure. So till we create that structure where we are fine when somebody fails and we are able to support them when they fail. So unless that structure is created, it will be very difficult, and we cannot go and tell somebody that, okay, don't sit for placement, right? So that comes first. So once that system is there, then I'm sure a lot of students will be ready to try out their ideas because they know that even if I fail, it's fine. I have a plan B, right? I can still lead a happy life, right? So that is what we need to create, okay? And that's what we are trying to do. Okay?
Sir, on behalf of my all students, I would like to ask two questions. First, when companies come to recruit the students, specifically in the IIMs, a lot of companies keep visiting a lot of MBA, BBA colleges also. So what are the core skills that they look for from the students?
Okay.
When they recruit the students from the management institutions, the core skills, what they look forward. And second question is, can you guide students about how should they go for career planning?
Okay.
That is something very important.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So first, what do the companies which IIM look for from the students, right? Suppose, let us say it's a consulting firm. So the consulting firms give them a case and then ask them, okay, how do you cause the case? So case typically has a decision point or a dilemma. How do you, solve that dilemma, right? So through which you assess the critical thinking among the students, right? And sometimes it may have ethical dilemma as well, right? So let me give you a specific case. There's a case about, it's called the parable of a sadhu, right? Now this case refers to a situation where, if you look at reaching Everest, right? A lot of mountaineers want to climb the Everest, and you have a very small window. That's probably when the weather is right so that you can reach the peak and come down. And it takes years of training and practice before you can actually climb something like Everest and so on, right? And this case talks about a situation where, and there are different groups. There are groups from New Zealand, there are groups from America, there are groups from France and all that. So they are climbing toward the Everest, and they find sadhu, right? And he was almost naked. And if they leave him there wherever they find in this route to Everest, the person is going to die, right? Now, one option is you take the sadhu, climb down, leave it at a place where he'll be safe, and then climb up, okay? In that process, these people may die, right? Because anything can happen. The weather is very, very unpredictable, right? And suddenly there could be a snowstorm and so on. And now everybody is asked, what will you do? So there is a person, you're saying, if you don't help him, he is going to die. Your entire life ambition is to reach Everest. You're almost there, right? Now you can ignore that person and let the person die. Or you can say that I'm going to give up my life ambition. I'm going to save this person. I will take him down. I may never get a chance to reach Everest. What will you do? So I'm giving you an example of what kind of questions our consulting firms ask the students. This is a sample, but there are a lot of other problem-solving situations, scenarios, which are relevant for that particular company, right? So it's mostly a case solving. So it is not about like your exam question, define data science and so on. Nobody asks that kind of question. They're going to evaluate your ability to solve a problem, your ability to generate a solution, right? Your ability to think differently. So these are the things that they look for, right? The second is career. How do you actually decide on what career to follow, and how do you actually chalk out a path? Ask your heart, right? Just because everybody is, for example, that's basically what we face. A lot of students wants to join consulting firms, and consulting as a profession itself is going down thanks to GenAI. GenAI is actually making consulting to some extent irrelevant, right? But anyway, so that's the kind of, their seniors all went for consulting jobs, so the juniors also following, right? It's like a, cow herd, right? Just follow the leader, okay? But that's not what you want to do. You just follow your heart. Where is your heart? If it is music, go on, become a music player, right? If it is some other art form, go and follow that. I mean, of course, there is this question of, okay, I am not from a wealthy family, right? That should not stop you from continuing your passion. Of course, you need money so that you can eat well and have a comfortable life and so on, but don't give up on your passion, okay? But if your passion is not art, not music, but make money, right? Then you have to look at, okay, who is giving you more money? Okay, and how do they evaluate? Right? What kind of skills they look for? Do I have the skill? Can I gain that skill? Right? And today in GenAI world, you can gain a lot of the skills these companies are looking for, right? But the most important skill is communication. Your ability to communicate your ideas. You may be intelligent person, right? You may be a great person or highly intelligent and with problem-solving skills. If you don't communicate, nobody is going to know how good you are, right? Remember, every human, if you treat human as a seed, every human is born with a lot of potentials, right? So there is a Einstein in you, there is a Ramanujan in you, there is a Mother Teresa in you, there is a Abdul Kalam in you, there is also a Trump in you, right? Now it is up to you which part of humanity you want to cultivate within you, right? It's your own decisions that make you what you want to become, right? And of course, there'll be hurdles in life, but then, if you plan or if you develop the ability to face those hurdles, you'll be all right. Every human is born with huge potential. If you want to realize that potential, it's your own decision whether you're able to realize that potential or not, right? That's it. Okay? Yeah.
Sir.
1 minute.
There is points for work experience. So I am a fresher, sir. I just have an internship experience. So what do you prefer to get into IIM with the experience in corporate, or as a fresher, is it possible to get into IIMs?
Okay. So IIM Bangalore, 30% of the students are without any work experience, right? And other IIMs, that person may be more than that. Maybe 40% are without work experience. So it's not that there are no students without work experience. So if you look at 30%, we are talking about almost 200 students out of 600 have no work experience, right? But why do we have this work experience? You need to understand how the organizations work so that you can understand when somebody talks about HR issues and organizational issues, your understanding will be better. If you have work experience because you have worked, you would have experienced the issues the professor is talking about. So that is the advantage. But having said that, that is not a necessary criteria, right? So there are some points given for work experience, but too much work experience is also a problem because the companies don't like, they think that bending them towards a different kind of business may be difficult, right? So, but you should not worry that you don't have work experience because 30% at IIM is without work experience. And as I said, more than 40% in many B schools, IIMs are without work experience. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys like genetic AI and agentic AI that are being used in corporate. Suggest some AIs that students can use in their education while.
Sort of Gen AI tools, agentic AI tools used by corporates, right? So you have to understand that there's a lot of buzz, right? The buzz is because many companies have invested in this technology. It is not easy for someone to develop something called ChatGPT because they have invested several $1 billion, if not trillion. Now, obviously, if you invest, you want the return, right? So you have to be careful when you look at all this buzz because this is a sales and marketing pitch, okay? Because it is still not a mature technology. I interact with a lot of CXOs. They say that they are waiting and watching. They are not investing. They just want to see whether you can trust the technology, right? Only then they'll use. So most of the technology, so if you look at, there is a mature technology, there is not mature technology. Recommender system is a mature technology. Whatever you see in your mobile phone is through a recommender system, right? Whenever you visit Amazon or Flipkart, you see a recommender system. Because it's a mature technology, they invested in that. Until the Gen AI technologies become matured, companies won't invest. But there will be a lot of buzz because there are companies which have invested in this technology. It's a marketing and sales pitch for them so that they can get the return on the investment they have made, right? The last one is how students can use Gen AI tools.
AI tools for their education.
Education. See, if I give a take-home assignment to my student, right? I'm sure that, pretty much sure that the student is going to ask some Gen AI app to complete that assignment, right? But the Gen AI app is going to give same answer to all the students. If I see same answer from all the students, I know that what app they used, okay? So it's not a very difficult for an evaluation perspective to figure out whether AI gave the answer or the human gave the answer. But having said that, I'm not saying don't use AI. You can use AI in a smart way, right? But you have much powerful thing called brain in you, so you use that on top of AI, right? So that's what I suggest, okay? Yeah.
So, as everyone know, most of the people's jobs will be replaced by AI in the future. So how
wait. It will not replace. It will change the way it is done today, right? Okay. There's a difference. So it is going to change the way the job is done.
So how to utilize AI tools which will help in building my career?
What career path you want to take?
Finance.
Finance. So in general, look at BFSI, right? BFSI as a field deals with a lot of numbers. Okay? Now, and also BFSI follows a lot of fraud, credit card fraud, let us say, right? So today, using AI, you can create an alert whether the transaction is a genuine transaction or fraudulent transaction. So you need to understand how that model works, right? So if you take BFSI, these are the top 10 actions that we do. How do I do better with AI? Fraud prediction, credit default. So we already have a lot of cases. We have written a lot of cases on that. So in any domain, these are the top 10 tasks the domain experts do, and how do you integrate those tasks to the AI tool, right, or the algorithm. So that's all you have to do, okay? Even in LinkedIn will tell you in finance what kind of AI tools are used. There'll be a lot of graphics, but don't believe all of them, right? But you can ask Google AI Studio. That will tell you the list of AI skills you need if you want to specialize in finance. Okay? All right. Yeah?
Ever a computer which would match the exaflop scale speed that would equally match a human. So with such changing dynamics in this time, what are we business students, like what should we focus with respect to such changing dynamics and work accordingly to stay relevant to the industry?
Okay. What is more important, computation or cognition?
Cognitions.
Computation or cognition?
Cognitions. Cognition.
The computers will do computation billion times better than you. But they can't do cognition. Right? So they can't differentiate an apple fruit from apple company. Right? So if you say, buy a share of apple, it may give you apple fruit. Cut it and give a piece to you. Right? That's not what you wanted. The cognition is what we are good at. So let us do what we are good at. We were never good at computation. Right? So even though all these technologies will come, I mean, you can give new names for these technologies, which are obviously computational technology. It will become faster. Right? It will make systems efficient. You can reach moon much faster than what you are doing today. But is it solving your problem? Just because you have a faster rocket which reaches moon, is it going to make your mind calm? So?
Yes,
So we need to understand what is important to me as a human. Let us solve that. Let people make things that are faster and faster. So in London in 1900, right, you cannot drive your car more than 20 kilometers per hour. Today, you cannot drive the car less than 100 kilometers per hour. Right? So in 100 years, how the society has changed. Okay? So the speed will change. But what do you do with the speed? You can reach the point much faster than what it used to happen in the past, maybe a year back. But cognition is the challenging stuff. Right? So how do you integrate computation and cognition? That is going to be the challenge for the future. Not the computation, the computers will do better than us. They cannot do the cognition like how we do. Okay? All right. Yeah? Nice interacting with you. Okay, all the best. Wish you all the best with your career, and hopefully some of you will crack CAT. I may see you at IIM Bangalore, right? And good luck.
We sincerely thank you, sir, for sharing your invaluable insights and inspiring us with your vision. Your words are sure to guide us and motivate each one of us on our journeys ahead. If anyone has any further questions, you can drop a mail to sir on his email ID, which then sir will get back to.
Every successful event is built on the support of many. To express our gratitude, I invite Mr. Kiran Magundanavar, Mr. Chairman Portfolio, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege on behalf of KLE Society's College of Business Administration, Hubballi, to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on this special occasion. First and foremost, we express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Professor U. Dinesh Kumar, Director IIM Bangalore, for taking the time to share his invaluable insights with us today. Your thoughts and perspectives have truly enriched us and inspired our students to think beyond the ordinary. I would also like to sincerely thank our principal, Professor Ramakant Degoji, and our academic coordinator, Professor Basit Binal, for their constant guidance and support in making seminars like these possible. A special word of appreciation goes to all our respected faculty members for their encouragement and motivation at every step. I also wish to acknowledge Team CBA Creations for their excellent media coverage and efforts in capturing the essence of today's seminar. I also wish to acknowledge the thanks to all portfolio managers and students for their teamworks, dedication, and enthusiastic participation, which contributed immensely to the success of today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. And with that, we conclude today's formal proceedings. Thank you, everyone, for your gracious presence and participation, and have a wonderful day ahead. This is I, Pranav Lingdali,
And I, Shrishti Hosmani,
formally signing off. Thank you, everyone.